Hi, I'm Kim.
Hi, and I'm Steve. Welcome to the Love Safety Net.
In today's show, we want to show you a clear path forward in improving your relationships.
Even with the principles we have to offer, it's not always going to be easy, and that's why today's show is entitled Why You Can't Trust Your Instincts.
Because if you didn't grow up in a family with healthy role models, chances are you're going to find that your instincts and your habits have been impaired and won't necessarily lead you to the healthy behaviors that you need to develop good relationships.
When you're talking about instincts, there's a really good example I want to use here about like getting into shape. Kim and I have got terribly out of shape this year, or not so bad, but because we've been working really hard. We've been working indoors and we've had pressure on and all sorts of things, and we've got out of shape. But now we get back into the gym, we're dieting again, we're really back onto it. So our instincts at the moment are still we still want to eat pizza and eat chocolate cake, right?
Yeah, that's right. I think that's a really good example of what we're talking about. We know that you can't use your instincts to guide you to getting a better body if you want to get in shape. You know, your instincts are always going to lead you the wrong way. They're going to tell you that there's absolutely nothing wrong with eating that piece of chocolate cake, that it's just an absolutely great idea. Luckily, we've got enough science and research and understanding out that we know that the chocolate cake is actually what's going to put pounds on our waistline, and that, you know, we can hold to those principles even when we're tempted and say, no, I want to get in shape, and so I'm not gonna go there.
So it really is, it's counterintuitive about what our instincts are telling us. Our instincts are saying, hey, there's lots of energy in that cake.
Yeah, and my instincts certainly don't tell me that I should be doing interval training, you know?
Yeah, sure.
That's something that I really still have to push myself to do.
That example's from a very simple perspective. Okay, we instinctively want to eat the wrong things because it looks nice and we know it tastes nice. So from a relationship point of view, Kim, how does that translate?
Well, I think it's really, really good metaphor, because if people are experiencing relationship problems, and, you know, maybe they've had multiple love relationships in their life, or maybe their relationship with their parents is strained, or maybe their friendships don't last as long as they'd like them to. You know, there's a tendency with people to say, oh, it was the other person's fault. You just had a bad spin of the chocolate wheel, or a bad roll of the dice.
Fell in with the wrong crowd.
Yeah, and you know, next time it'll go better. And they're always looking for the next sort of relationship that's going to be better and is going to help heal all of that. And you know, I think there's a lot of danger in there, because if you've grown up not understanding the principles of healthy relationships, your instincts are really always going to lead you the wrong way. And we hear this in a lot of popular music. It's a common theme in probably 80% of the songs that we hear on the radio.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, we talk about my baby. And so when we want to talk about our lover, and you know, there's this sort of idea, well, you know, this unhealthy idea, it really is, that love is actually about having somebody come along and soothe or nurture or take care of our negative emotions.
Right.
And I would suggest that those emotions and that part of us is usually quite immature. It's like we want somebody to baby us. We want someone to treat us like a baby. There's
some kind of wound there that somebody feeling those feelings is not quite sure about how to move past it and haven't matured past that terrible, you know, might be a trauma related, or there might not be. But yeah, there's been a slowing down of development in some way.
Or it may be them just avoiding growing up, you know, because growing up is painful.
Sure is.
I mean, you see it really clearly in people in relationships where they're intimate with each other and the baby talk starts. You know, they have sort of goo goo gaga names for each other, and
cute and fuzzy names.
Yeah,
like honey bunny and stuff.
Yeah, and the intimacy level, you know, between them really goes down to this level of you know, maybe even being under 5. You know, that's the level that they're relating at in terms of intimacy. And I mean, I only mention that because, you know, I'm hinting at there really is more than that. You know, there's something a lot better than that. That as hard as it can be to get past those ideas of wanting that or feeling that you really need that, if you think about it logically for a minute, you know, is that the depth that you really want your intimate relationships to stay at?
Sure.
You know, yes, it's difficult accepting the truth for a lot of people, that a lot of the principles in our program offer, that you really do need to become emotionally a lot more independent and a lot less dependent than you probably are at the moment. And yeah, that's really scary. That's tough. It's like working out at the gym. It's going to take some principled effort for you to grow. And you're only going to do that if you can let go of the ideas of wanting to be taken care of like you're a baby.
Sure.
But, you know, there's a lot more to look forward to, because
That's right.
a true adult level of intimacy and intimate exchange offers so much more dynamics and possibility and potential.
That's right. Kim and I have been together. We've nearly 20 years together now. So it's fair to say that our honeymoon period's over? Do you think?
I think so.
Yeah,
it ended pretty quickly.
It did rather. But the thing was about that, Kim, is that we did actually, you know, that initial honeymoon period, you do get all those feelings that you really can't grapple immediately. You're really you don't want to jump into that analytical kind of mode when you're first in that honeymoon period. You're enjoying the great feelings that it's bringing back and the love and the connection, and there is something magical about that. But when you do move past that honeymoon period, that is a really important part of everybody's growth. Everybody that's been in a relationship. It's a danger time, of course, but it's also, Kim, at that moment, that question mark we're raising about instincts and about principles really becomes clearer in the picture. If you can take a moment and think, wow, I'm going to really need to start thinking about how I soothe myself. And I know we've got some ideas on that, and we won't talk about that straight away, Kim. But those ideas of how we're going to start taking care of our own emotions, that's the time to catch them right at that moment. Now, of course, there's various different. It's not just when the honeymoon period's finishing, Kim. There's also, you know, as I said, we've been together nearly 20 years now, but we're still working on those roles of being able to depend on each other when we need each other, and that's not always easy, but that's becoming adult. And that's requiring principles, and, you know, all sorts of emotional stuff comes up. But we're committed to each other in that sense. Yeah. We're committed to each other in being able to depend on each other because we need to. And the instincts that you know, perhaps, you know, we've talked about in previous shows where, you know, I've just wanted everybody to love me, and that was kind of the whole narcissistic problem, you know, wound that I was carrying. I just wanted
pretty good at it
to impress everybody. Yeah, well, thanks for that. But that, yeah. So I just wanted to bring that up, that there are different stages and different challenges come up in those different stages.
And we put the principles together. I mean, I put that set of principles together for myself, you know, and for you, and now we're sharing them with our children, because my instincts had been impaired, and I realized that. I realized that doing the same things over and over again that felt normal and natural to me was only actually damaging my relationships, and it was damaging my reputation, and it was pushing people away from me. And I didn't want that to continue. And I don't think there's a day that goes by nearly, you know, well, certainly not 2 days that goes by, that, you know, situations don't come up in our life where I have to call on those principles, especially now that we've got teenagers and, you know, they're starting to have boyfriends and girlfriends and our family's growing. It's really important. And I can't honestly say that, you know, my instincts are all completely healthy now. You know, maybe that will never happen. But I am so grateful that I do have principles to turn to, And, you know, that even when sometimes I'm feeling like doing this, I know that isn't the right thing for me to do, and I really should be doing this. And this is sometimes tough. Yeah. You know, just like the gym. This is sometimes the really tough decision. You know, not necessarily the easy decision. And, you know, that's where I really do want to, you know, promote our books and the principles that we offer, because I feel kind of a little bit uncomfortable, I guess, when people come onto the blog and they read this and they say, oh, I've tried all of that and it doesn't work. Or, oh, you know, I understand it all now, and so I know that everything's just going to be better. I can see what I've been doing wrong. And, you know, in both cases, I kind of go, oh, you know, I hope I've really put this across truthfully for how it really is. Because, you know, really to make our program effective, you do need to see it as principles that you're going to have to keep using over and over, but that you can learn to turn to, you know, to help guide you through. Just like the same principles, you know, that we started out saying that, you know, help you get in shape or help you not get too out of shape. So even if you're doing the wrong thing, at least you know you're doing the wrong thing and you've got some guidance.
That's right. So Kim, on the topic of emotional immaturity, we do need, I mean, we've kind of touched on that already in the show so far.
Yeah.
But that emotional immaturity, it's not always easy to see in yourself, is it?
No. No, it certainly isn't.
Always easier to see when somebody else is being emotionally immature. Not so easy to see when you're perhaps acting that way. And so I think that's also, you know, something that people use it as an excuse sometimes. They, you know, go, oh, I wasn't thinking, oh, I'm sorry, you know, oh, I didn't mean to call that person a name, I just wasn't thinking straight. When really, getting back to the subject at hand, Kim, it's those lack of principles that have maybe allowed that emotional immaturity to sneak up and, you know, in the heat of the moment, call somebody that name, or, you know, perhaps make a wrong choice.
Overreact.
Overreact, yeah, which can be terrible, have terrible consequences.
Yeah.
So emotional immaturity is really something that we need to be able to perhaps balance out with our principles.
Yeah.
And when, you know, in the example of when we do call somebody that name, when we react badly, it's instinctively what you wanted to say.
Yeah.
You want to call that person a name.
That's right.
In the heat of the moment, your instincts say,
And you know, learning that you don't have to, you know, give yourself such a hard time or criticize yourself for that, because it's normal to get angry if we feel disrespected. But, you know, we have to then have a set of principles of how are we going to act that out, or when is it appropriate to act that out, or, you know, what's going to be effective at setting boundaries with that person so that they don't disrespect us in future. And, you know, we're all going to make mistakes, and we're all still going to act out when we're emotional. When we're emotional, we're going to say and do the wrong things sometimes. We're not going to remember to take time out to calm down before we can think things through better. But really the principles we offer also help with damage control.
Right.
You know, so that you do know how to repair that as quickly as possible if it does happen.